Race 2 of the Grand Final of the SCL Canyon Endurance Premiership Season 6 is about to get underway on Nergigante. World record 103.762 by Mebe12. We've got the start right now. Watch out to make sure to cancel your rotation as quickly as you can to avoid being sent a little bit too far down. Matthew Ford having a little bit of an early start. Then we got a really nice narrow U-turn right here after CP2. You gotta control the angle of your car to make sure not to hit either the inside or outside wall. Then we got this really fast flowing section right here. And keep as tight as possible onto this downhill. Then we got a narrow pass right here, just enough to fit the car through. And then this narrow turn, this narrow section, U-turn section, this narrow turn section. Then double apex right-hander, snap out towards the left after the second apex to get as tight as possible to cross CP8. And then the drop down, make sure to be as far right as possible in order to avoid the wall clip that we see Benzo doing. Benzo pulling a nice 360 for that particular one. Then we are heading towards the final part of the course with this bank's right-hander, with this bank left-hander. Following, then we've got CP10 and CP11 coming in right here with the final left-hander with a jump crossing the finish line and a jump towards checkpoint number 1. Hello, Fat Kid. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the show. As we're about to get underway with the race. Good luck, have fun, everyone. Race 2 is getting underway for the Grand Final on Nergigante, and we're going to be spectating Noni from Team Spurfin 2 for the start. And we're already seeing potentially a few problems at the start. Manu not having the best landing out of that, and he will be left behind immediately as a result of that shoddy landing. The whole shot will be Kota after CP1. And yeah, the leader currently battling it out fiercely with Cloud. LMB Willy also having a really good start as well for Team Extremely Disorientated. Cloud currently sending himself out of the lot and taking the lead from Quentin 43 Mebe in third place. Ooh, really nice line, really tight line from Skugako, was really risky here. And that could have been ending catastrophically here for the Team Jean-Bjorn driver so far. It is Cloud 1, Quentin second, and Mebe third, Eric in fourth. And then we got Skugako in 5th, as Skugako is battling it out really nicely, and now we see that he's in P4, Nod in P5, and then we see Eric in P6 trying to claw some of the positions back from Skugako and Nod, and so far it seems to be paying off. He's retaking, albeit temporarily, P4, as Nod and Skugako are still hot on his heels. Not even overtaking Eric for P4. Meanwhile, at the end of lap number 1, Konta got left behind, and we're heading already towards a 1-2 situation for Team Amplified at the end of lap 1. Cloud in front of Mebe, first and second. Konta third, not fourth. The team got speed guys in following suit. Eric, Skugako, Suram, LMB Willy, Lars, and Hotdog complete your top 10. Meanwhile, towards the back of the field, we got, meanwhile, a little bit further down on the field, sorry, we've got Matze currently in P11, battling out with Hotdog from Team Broken Wrist, trying to defend at 11th position, but also trying to catch back up to Suram in 10th position. Oh, it seems as though we got a rip! What happened? What just happened? Did someone actually rip from the leaders? I don't really know, but yeah, that was a really strange jump. I thought for sure that he was in P11. Oh, Hotdog making a mistake, and thus he will get overtaken by Matze, Benzo, and Matty Ford. And thus Gargamel will be in the top 10 for Team Extremely Disorientated. LMB Willy having a really good start. Currently sitting in P7, a few tenths behind Skugako in sixth position, sorry. Meanwhile, in the lead, we've got still Mebe, Cloud and Mebe in first and second, not taking the fastest lap of the race with a 1:04.210, and Mebe and Cloud are tussling for the lead. Cloud still having a little bit of an advantage, and Mebe trying to pile the pressure on his teammate to try and retake the lead from his Dutch teammate. So far, it is not paying off with that really wide line into the downhill section. Then we got this narrow sneaking section, nicely done, but maybe with a bit more momentum than Cloud, he will retake the lead, trying to make it stick before CP8. CP8 will be his. Meanwhile, Cloud trying to make something happen, trying to go a little bit more aggressive than Mebe on the drop down. It seems as though he will be taking, no, he will touch the inside wall, and thus he will be overtaken by Nod and Eric. Eric will be promoted to P3, Cloud will be down to P4, and Quentin Calpin also passed. So yeah, Cloud is down to the depths of P6 even as he got overtaken by Skugako. unbelievable mistake after the drop down by Cloud, unfortunately. Meanwhile, a little bit further behind in the field, we see that Lars, the gaps is starting to stretch a little bit, except between Benzo and Matze, currently battling it out for P9 here. Matze having a little bit of advantage compared to Benzo, but Benzo with more momentum will be able to overtake him. Nope, not quite, lacking 9 thousandths of a second there. Then here we go for the second half of the track. Matze still having a little bit of advantage compared to Benzo, but Benzo trying to reel him in. CP8 will be hit with that really nice and tidy line throughout this corner. Then we got the drop down situation. Benzo will still remain in the lead compared to Matze in 10th position. Two extremely disoriented drivers in the top 10, so we could be seeing some pretty good stuff here. Where Benzo at? Well, Benzo, we're currently seeing him on screen. He's currently sitting in P9, 3.4 seconds down on the leader currently, maybe 12 from Team Amplified, and meanwhile at the top, the gaps seems to be yo-yoing a little bit. Shrinking and growing from between each and every one lap, so it could be really much a yo-yo effect whilst we're going underneath the half a second gap between Nod and Mebe, at least with the space of 1 CP, but now with a few mistakes by the Frenchman, the gap is widening again to around 0.6 of a second. So Mebe controlling the gap up front, Nord in second trying to catch as much as he can. He will touch the inside, and that will be the cue for Eric to slide through into second place. Then will be Nod in third, and Cloud will be waiting to pounce after that mistake from Nod. Although he's a little bit too far away to make anything about the Frenchman from Team Godspeed 1. And Nod is still remaining in close contact with Eric, so the battle could still not be done for second place towards the end of lap number 5. Eric still having a little bit of advantage right now, around 0.3 of a second between himself and Nod in third place. And we see that Eric has less speed compared to Nod in this turn, so Nod will be able to catch back up. Maybe crosses the start-finish line to start lap 6 in the lead. Eric second, just 0.2 in front of Nod in third, Cloud fourth, and Quentin in fifth. Quentin currently under pressure from Skugako. Currently sitting in P6 as we're already a quarter of the way through the race. 5 laps completed, 15 to go. Skugako trying to overtake Quentin 43. Quentin going a little bit wider than Skugako, keeping as much speed as he can. That could have been costly here if he would have touched the wall. Klame giving him a mistake, dropping a lot of momentum compared to Nod, and thus he will be overtaken by Quentin 43 into P4, and Skugako also piling the pressure on Cloud, potentially to get P5. And the battle for 4th place is really packed right here. Look at this. This is the battle for P4 that you see on your screen right now. Quentin in P4, Cloud P5, and Skugako in P6. Currently holding really nicely here. Skugako trying to overtake Cloud, not making it stick quite enough. And thus Cloud will be able to retake the 5th place from Skugako. Quentin still sitting in P4, but still under pressure from the two fellas behind him as Cloud is going closer and closer. He is almost sniffing his gearbox right now as he's trying to make something happen to get into P4. Meanwhile, Eric is into a battle with Nod. Nod has made the junction to Eric for 2nd place, and the battle rages on for P2 right now in the standings. It could still be important points on the line for either Team Godspeed or Team Broken Wrists. For each of these players right here, Eric with less speed compared to Nod, a much nicer and tidier line for Nod is allowing him to move through to 2nd place. Almost a bit of a wall touch there, but thankfully everything was under control. And now we are seeing that the Frenchman has retaken 2nd place from Team Broken Wrist. 3 teams represented into the top 3 right now. Amplified with Mebe in 1st place, 2nd place for Nod right now with Team Godspeed, and 3rd place for Eric with Team Broken Wrists. Cloud getting left behind slowly but surely by the top of the group. He's finding himself even over a second down on P3 right now, which is currently Eric from Team Broken Wrist. Quentin 43 still trying to catch back up to Cloud in P5. Skugako has made a mistake. Skugako is getting left behind by Quentin 43. He's finding himself in 6th, 4/10 down on his fellow compatriot Quentin, who's managing to get back into 4th place in front of Cloud. Cloud must have made a mistake that we didn't really catch. Sorry. But yeah, Cloud is down to P5, still in the top 5, but now he could be under pressure from Skugako. Let's actually see if we can actually check some people towards the bottom of the field. Let's see. We've got the gap seems to have separated quite a bit below the top 10. So you can see 1 second, almost 1 second between Yogo and Benzo, 1 full second between Benzo and Zenob, currently sitting in the screen in P13. Then in the full second between Sneaky, between Zenob and Sneaky, then Sneaky has 4/10 of a gap between himself and Rex. Rex in P15 trying to catch back up to Sneaky in P14. The Team AD Racing boys are not really looking to need to score some good points right here, as Sneaky made a bit of mistake, dropped a lot more momentum, and allows Rex to scoot by him to move into P14. Lokring even overtaking his fellow teammate in P15. Sneaky P16, Matty Ford in P17. The team Something with Butter not faring too good so far in this race. Then Team Smurfin 2 not really feeling it right now. Noni 18th, Manu 19th, and Hot Dog from Team Broken Wrist is currently in last place, already half a minute down on the leader. And now we could be seeing, we could potentially be seeing one of the Team Broken Wrist guys getting lapped by the rest of the field as we're heading towards almost halfway through the race. Meb is still in the lead, not in second place. Erik in third place. Erik must have made a mistake that we didn't catch on camera, and he's finding himself 1.6 seconds down on his French rival Nod in second place. Nod is now 8/10 down on the leader. And Quentin could potentially be set to make it a 2-3 for Godspeed and potentially cement themselves into first place. Meanwhile, Meve is keeping everything under control, even though the gap seems to have shrunken a little bit between himself and Non. It's down to 6/10 now. It was 8/10 just a few moments ago. And Quentin trying to reel Erik back in, trying to force him to make a mistake, and trying to get into that third place as quickly as possible to back his teammate up into the point scoring matters. Meanwhile, the gap is currently continuing to shrink between Nod and Mebe. But as I say that, we're heading into the section where it doesn't really suit Nod all that much, so we could potentially see the gap growing a little bit in favor of Mebe here. Although, as I say that, the gap is within half a second right now, 4/10 exactly between Mebe in first place and Cloud and Nod in second place. Cloud currently sitting in P5, 2.8 seconds down on the leader, and he's got a second of a gap between himself and Skugako in the sixth position, sorry. So yeah, he's got quite a bit of a buffer to manage that and try to catch back up to Quentin in fourth place. So yeah, the battle for third place could be hotting up really nicely here, as Erik is still under pressure from Quentin 43 in fourth place. And Nod again reeling Mebe in throughout the course of the map. Halfway through the race, we're down to 3/10 of a gap between Mebe and Nod in first and second. Now we're heading into the corner where it doesn't really suit Nod all that well, so we could see the gap rising. Yeah, 4/10 of a second now for Mebe in front of Cloud. Then we got Erik 2 seconds down on second place, Nod in third place. Then we got Godspeed. Godspeed for Quentin in P4, Erik in P3, Cloud in P5. Cloud's managing to continue keeping both Erik and Quentin in check, so if any of these two drivers or both make a mistake, then he will be able to reap the benefits and go back up to P3 as a result of that. But we'll have to wait and see if any one of them falters towards the end of the race. Meanwhile, lap 12 is underway. Smooth lines here by everyone. Let's actually see if we got any update on the fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap is by Nod with a 104.026, and as we say that, Quentin gets overtaken by Cloud for the benefit of P4, and Erik takes the advantage of that and pulls away a little bit. He's now 6/10 ahead of the battle for fourth place between Cloud and Quentin 43. Meanwhile, Nod seems to have made a little bit of a mistake a little bit earlier on, and thus the gap has widened to around a second between himself and Mebe in second place, and now the gap is starting to shrink again as he tries to push as much as he can to get back up to the leader and try to challenge for the lead right now. And Cloud has made another mistake, that we didn't catch on camera, and thus he will move back down to P5, and he's finding himself 3.6 seconds down on the leader, 1 full second down on Quentin 43 in P4. LMB Willie in P6 is 3 seconds down on Cloud. Lars is 7th place. Matza 8th, Suram 9th, and Skukako in 10th. The gaps have spread out quite a fair bit between all of these players, except between these two. Zenob and Sneaky battling it out for P13. Sneaky taking much more speed into the corner than Zenob, and thus moving into P13. But the battle is not done yet, as now another contender steps up in the form of Rex. Rex from Team Exortus trying to make something happen, trying to overtake AD Racing Sneaky for P13 and the points that come with it. Benzo making a mistake, full stopping almost, and that's going to promote each of these drivers up one place, and we're seeing Sneaky in P12, Rex in P13, Zeno P14. Benzo is down in P15, just ahead of his teammate Matty Ford, and currently Sneaky still resisting really well to the assaults of Rex right now. Sneaky and Rex battling it out, reach each other, to Rex hitting the inside wall on the left-hander, and thus that will be at the end of his challenge for P12, at least for now, as Zenob tries to make something happen and tries to overtake Rex for P13, but he himself made a mistake, and thus he will be out of contention for that 13th position. Meanwhile, towards the front, the gap has reduced again between Mebe and Nod to around half a second, even less than half a second. We're now on to 4/10 between Mebe and Nod in first and second place. Yogason towards the at the gate of P11, the gate of top 10. Sorry, you're right. You're absolutely right, Vince. I completely missed that. Yogason is currently in 11th place, 2 seconds down on P10, which is currently held by Skugako. And yeah, a little bit of a catch-up to do as Nod hitches the outside wall, and that's going to be the end of the challenge for Nod into this lap as the gap rises to over a second now between himself and Mebe in first place. Quentin still trying to catch back up to Eric, but Eric is pulling up a fight, and he's still managing to keep the gap stable between himself and Quentin. The gap is around 0.6 of a second in favor of Eric in third place, and so far so good for team Broken Wrist. They're still going to be able to score some points thanks to Eric, but it will not be enough to supersede the scoring capability of Team Godspeed 1 with Nod and Quentin in second and fourth place. Maybe Team Amplified would have something to say about that, but if they want to have a little bit of a say, this man right here, Cloud, is going to have to catch back up to the man in front of him, Quentin 43 from Team Godspeed, to deny them some big point scores and try to get back onto the top one spot. Although it is almost certain that Team Broken Wrist will get overtaken by Team Amplified as a result of this race, as not many people from Team Broken Wrist are going to be able to score some big points. Eric is currently doing the heavy lifting. Dog is still in last place, about to get lapped by the rest of the field, and Eric could be set to lose his third place right now, and in the hands of Quentin 43. Quentin trying to make something happen towards the final corner of the race right now. Coming up, the final checkpoint. Quentin making it stick. And this CEP will make it stick across the start finish line. No, Eric will be able to cross the finish line in third by 0.6 of a second into lap number 16. 5 laps to go. Benzo and Mati, yeah, Benzo had a huge full stop pick at one point, and yeah, he was down to P15 at one point, and he got overtaken by Mati Ford in the end. So yeah, P16 for Benzo for now, as Nod is trying to catch people back up, and meanwhile Eric and Quentin, the battle is still going on for third place. There are some big points at stake here for each team, and it will be really important at the end of it all, at the end of the final race, which is going to come up after this one. Then we've got Quentin and Eric battling it out again at the end of CP8. Quentin having a little bit of an advantage compared to Eric. Will Eric be able to clutch back up? No, not quite. And Quentin, with a bit of a dodgy line, could have dropped momentum, but so far it seems that the gaps have stabilized. Although Eric, with a bit more momentum, much more speed carrying into the corner, will be able to make something happen and try to overtake Quentin towards the start-finish line. Yes, he will do so, in fact, and thus Eric continues to be in third place, but not for long, maybe, as Quentin still tries to pile the pressure on the Swedish driver from Team Broken Wrist. Meanwhile, Team Amplified's Cloud is a little bit further behind than he would have liked, but he's still keeping close tabs on the battle for third place. That is currently all but raging right now, as Quentin tries to make something happen again on Eric, trying to play the mind games here with the dodgy lines and the inside-outside lines. Hot Dog getting lapped by the players, and Eric has officially lapped his teammate. He knows that he is all alone now for scoring the big points. Eric from Team Broken Wrist, and he gets overtaken by Quentin. Quentin in P3. Quentin with a really wide exit again. it seems as though that setup right here is not particularly ideal for Quentin, and that will be potentially a weakness that Eric will be looking to exploit to the fullest of its advantage to try and make sure that third place is his. Eric with a really much tidier inside line compared to Quentin will get into third place at the start of lap number 18. Meanwhile, let's actually check in on a little bit further down the field. Battle between 12th place between Rex and Sneaky. Sneaky currently sitting in P13, Rex in P12. And yeah, the battle is, although it's a little bit remote at this point, Rex still having a little bit of an advantage. Sneaky is trying to catch back up to him. Rex with a really dodgy exit, and that's going to allow Sneaky to remove all that gap and move back up to 12th place as a result of this mistake. And yeah, the battle is going to continue to rage on for P12 right now between those two drivers. Meanwhile, towards the front, it seems as though the battle for 4th place is still... actually, battle for 3rd place has actually taken quite a turn as Quentin seems to have made a mistake off camera, and that's going to secure the point potentially definitively here for Team Broken Race, as Eric is able to get up to 1.1 second of a gap between himself and Quentin 43 in 4th place, and Cloud is the next one to be... He's the next threat to Quentin 43. Quentin currently sitting half a second up from the road of Cloud in P5 as we enter the penultimate lap of this race. Meb is still holding steadfast in the lead, 0.8 of a second in front of Nord in 2nd place. No fastest lap of the race so far. Actually, one new fastest lap of the race so far. Fastest lap of the race a little bit earlier on. It was done by Nord, trying to catch back up to Cloud, presumably with a 103.970. We are almost 2/10 away from the world record, which has been held in time attack. So it's looking to be pretty fast-paced indeed from the Frenchman from Team Godspeed. And yeah, he's looking in good shape, even though he's not able to do anything for the lead battle right now. And yeah, it seems as though he will have to be settling for a 2nd place as we are heading towards the end of lap 19 and we're going to be about to start the final lap, for the little bit of stammering and stuttering. Maybe rounding out the final corner coming up right now, the jump into the finish line, and there we go, white flag is out. Final lap of race number 2 is underway with Bebe in 1st place in front of Nord in 2nd place. Oh no, that must have been a hair raiser right there. That could have been catastrophic. That would have been a catastrophic drift. He would have hit that wall on the left-hand side, but Nord keeps it under control and still remains within 0.6 of Mebe in 1st place. Mebe controlling the race from the front. Keeping cool, calm, and collected, the Australian from Team Amplified is about to net the first race win in this grand final for his team and himself. As Eric was able to get a win right here, it will be changing hands as Mebe is set to take the victory here on race number 2 on Nergigante. Although the gap is still somewhat closing between Nord and Mebe, half a second now between the two drivers. The final set of corners coming up. Will anyone make a mistake? He was not able to get as much momentum as Mebe into there, even though the gap is closing. Will not be enough. It was too little too late. Mebe 12 from Team Amplified representing Australia will win race number 2 on Nergigante. Mebe 12 wins the race. Nord 2nd place, Eric 3rd, Quentin 4th, Cloud 5th, LMB Willie 6th place. Yeah, that's a dog. That's a hot dog that got overlapped. Suram in P7, Skugako P8, Lars P9, Matze in P10. Yogo-san will race the finish line this time around in P11. Sneaky will remain in P12. Rex in P13. Zenob in P14. Matti Ford P15. Noni P16. Benzo 17th. Next up we have Manu in P18. Oh, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub, Arrow. Very much appreciated. Really appreciate you supporting the hustle of a poor man trying to keep up the pace of track media casting. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. That was unexpected and yeah, heartwarming. Thank you very much, Arrow. And thank you, Let's Dance also for the follow. Manu in P18, Lokring in P19 just behind him. And then we have got Hot Dog, the only car to be 1 lap behind everyone else, crossing the line in P20. So Mebe wins the race in front of Nord and Eric. Quentin 43 Cloud completes the top 5. LMB Willie, Suram, Skugako, Lars, and Matze complete your top 10. And with P2 and P4, it's yet another strong points haul for Team Godspeed 1, although Team Amplified has managed to get by Team Broken Wrist. It is still all to do for the outfit with Race 3 coming up.